Welcome to Back the Yards, located on the south side of Chicago. I was born and raised here, and honestly, I can't imagine being anywhere else but there. It was a community that was full of young Latin immigrant families, and there were so many schools due to the amount of kids in the area. But I wasn't a very social kid, and even now, I'm not very social. But I saw so many people there just living their life, and I was left with bits and pieces of the life everyone lived in that area. I had spent most of my time alone. I spent it thinking and seeing my small neighborhood. I knew that I wanted to be in a better place, that this violence, this struggle wasn't for me. I wanted more, but not more as in things, more as in a better quality of life. I walked the early mornings before like 7 a.m. at my school playground, just walking around, wasting time until school started at like 9 o'clock. I didn't see much violence. I heard about it throughout my time there, but gangbangers don't wake up at 7 in the morning to cause problems. But in the afternoon, when school was out, I knew there was trouble in the area. You could feel the tension in the air, the way people acted, the way the kids talked about it in their neighborhood, about what went on after dark. And luckily, I didn't experience any of those things that I heard about. But I wasn't naive that I was oblivious to all this. I grew up here and I got to say what an honor it was to grow up on the south side of Chicago. Isn't it a wonderful place to be in the greatest city in the world, according to me and locals? I always had dreamed of making crazy amounts of money, but I used to laugh at myself a lot because I honestly don't take myself that serious. Because to me, life is meant to be funny and just have fun. But I do take my dreams very literally. People I came across all saw it in me. I stood out among everyone, even in my small 60 student classes. I wasn't very smart, and in fact, up until my mid 20s, I didn't realize that I was actually in special ed for a learning disability. And I was so unaware of it. I was so unaware of my school environment, my learning environment, but I was aware of the world around me. I knew that growing up, my mom washing windows and picking up trash from lots wasn't the life I wanted her to have or for me. I knew about the richest people at the time, but I couldn't have possibly imagined how much wealth discrepancy there was. This is because in my head, they were billionaires and $1 billion has nine zeros. And having 1,000 already knocked out three out of the nine zeros. And that's pretty fast progress. And if that sounds silly to you, then you need a little more financial imagination. From looking back to my neighborhood and people who I grew up around with in those areas, I've noticed that a lot of them had lost hope in their dreams. Everyone's dreams start to die out as we grow older. And in Back of the Yards, it now seems that people's dreams are dying out before they even get to fully imagine them. Isn't that sad? Have your dreams started to wither away as time passes? As you grow older or as you see more violence around you? The people are being pushed out of their own communities because of gentrification. And maybe things haven't gone your way for a couple of days, months, maybe even years. Do you feel like those dreams are no longer reachable or no longer compatible with your life? I couldn't really figure it out why people gave up on their dreams. I was so determined in my life that until I got hit with a lot of events, after I had even hit a big milestone in my financial journey, that eventually led me to depression. Now, I haven't really overcome it, but I'm managing it. And I realize that it deals with the missing of encouragement. I was fine for many years figuring out things on my own because I knew I had nothing, so there was nothing to lose. Then when I finally hit my first million, I think my motivation dropped by like 25%. Then working at a top accounting firm and leaving after a bit, I'd say it dropped another 15%. Then after losing someone I loved was another 40%. And with the stagnation of life after that, it was probably another 15%. And yes, they don't add up because it's a diminishing of the whole. I look back and think, how could I feel this way if I felt my will was so strong and yet it did not keep me together as far as I wanted to? And the simple answer was, it did actually. It did because I'm still here. Although not at my full capacity, I'm still slowly recovering it. And that is my will, keeping it, keeping me going. And I believe that's what my community needs, something to keep them going. Now, thinking out loud, what can it be? Because my community is made up of individuals, and individuals are more important than the whole. So the question goes to you. If you are listening, how do you feel? The world isn't watching you because just like me, we're nobodies in the eyes of the world. I'm not famous. You're not famous. And we weren't born into wealthy families. The ghetto in me will never not be a part of me. The people born into money will be able to notice after some time. And they'll probably get uncomfortable. But what can we do about it? They'll never fully understand me or you. And then comes the next question. Are you tired of life? At your age, all you've gone through? How could you not be tired, right? Especially if things haven't gone the way you imagined. School might have not worked out, your small business didn't take off, or you got laid off. I believe that roughly 70 to 80% of all your outcomes and where you are your fault, which sometimes vary, but as a general rule, I tend to believe that. This applies to good fortune too. You might have aced that test with your effort, but if you think it was all you're doing, you must also accept that things that happen to you are your doing as well. And nothing is 100% your fault or someone else's. Just because you got straight A's or D's or C's in school doesn't mean you're meant to be something big. To me, none of that will determine it. I've seen both sides of straight A's and low grades, and they're both equal to me because when I talk to them and ask them about their ambitions and their dreams, they all have about the same level of dreams. Nothing that really impressed me because I couldn't see it in their eyes, in their spirit. It's something they're incomplete without pushing towards it. There's no amount of schooling that will teach you what your dream is. And if you're listening to this, you probably don't just want a career or a job. You want something more, something that is only reserved for the people who really care about more than themselves. Most of you on here are looking for a solution to your financial problems. Throughout the months and years, looking for that one moment that you'll finally find the answer. Living day by day, feeling that you could be more and yet you're not. Could it be that this is where you were meant to be? Could it be you weren't the main character in the world and you were destined to be where you are at, in the position you are in for another generation? You know, I didn't actually envision myself in the future as an adult. Every time I would think about the future, even to this day, I don't ever imagine myself as older, wrinklier, or crankier because I still have hope in me. And most people think there's hope in everyone, even in our neighborhood. But if I'm honest, there's a division of culture in our neighborhood. The big groups divided on how to advance in life. One being turned to a life of crime through gangs and other means, and the other is a life of education and honest means. There are many that are beyond our help, but there are others that with some help and some encouragement from the right people can change the way they see their future. Even if you're listening, you're probably on the side that doesn't want to live that gangster life. You might know someone on the other side. You should see if they're willing to change their ways or if you should just walk away before you're dragged into everything just by association. It might be hard, especially if they're childhood friends or just good friends in general, because I get it. We all have friends that are fun to be around, but they're up to bad things. And you have to decide when you start to keep your distance. And hopefully, nothing happens before then. Once you walk away from the violence, you're not at a disadvantage for being born in this area, from being born of immigrant parents, from being born without wealth. I like to think that people born like us are born with the best advantage possible, the advantage to be free and a free drive. You are free because you have no expectations in reality. You are at the lowest possible point in your life. Thus, you only have room to grow and stay stagnant, with almost virtually no room to go below that. Unlike others born into wealth, where their baseline is so high, any slippage is considered a failure. You also gain a free drive because you will see and experience things that will shape you the way you are and think, to let you determine how you want to help the world so others don't experience the same. Even if you don't realize it in a moment, you're probably in the best two possible positions in the world to be born in. The first being the son of a billionaire taking the top spot. And yes, you beat out the middle class position. All you need is a little hope that'll get you that taste of your dream. It's hard to develop hope, in my opinion. I don't even know how it came to be in me. Maybe I was just born with it in my blood. Maybe it was seeing all the abandoned houses in my neighborhood. I can tell you that every negative thing that I saw growing up was one more little drop to my jar of hope. I didn't keep track of it, but my spirit did. You can look back at the moments that are stuck. You can look back at the moments that are stuck in your head from years ago. But if they don't provoke something in you, whether it's positive or negative, skip it for now and keep searching. This is because most of my hope actually comes from negative events in my life. Even now, I describe my drive as a kind of rage driven, which is the complete opposite of my personality. I'm not one to be angry or to hate something, but because of life, it developed in me that way. I just keep it under control and don't let my rage spill out into the world. I want to bring joy and happiness for the world around me. However, the engine in me is burning full of rage. So don't be scared to say that your dream or passion is driven by anger, rage, sadness, happiness, or any other emotion. Everyone runs on different substances. You just need to figure out what is your hope being fueled by and see if that fuel you can handle or even want it. And that's where I want to end it. Find out what is fueling your hope, because no one is going to figure it out for you. No one is watching you. No one cares about your hope. But most importantly, no one will notice you if you don't help out your family, your community, your state, your country, and the world. So why not go looking for hope at the source? Thank you for listening.